the meeting to order. First item on the agenda is Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Clerk, please call the roll.
Mr. Gatway. Alderman Kessler.
Here.
Alderman Detweiler. Here. Alderman Gettemeyer.
Here.
Alderman Johnson.
Here.
Alderman Whitman.
Here.
Alderman Wilson.
Present. It's gotta be different. Moving on to the consent agenda, entertain a motion to approve the consent agenda.
So moved.
Second. Motion is second. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Ayes have it. All right, do we have anyone to speak in public comment?
Yes. Gerald Thompson.
Step on forward.
The area behind my property, which is common ground, or it's not our common ground, it's public property for the city. They're trying to have us to clean the walks and mow the grass on property that I own. So that's part of the agenda tonight. So that's why I'm here to see what's happening with that issue. So I don't own the property. I'm not insured to do that work. I have no insurance to be on somebody else's property running that kind of machinery or cleaning grass or mowing or scooping yards or sidewalks or anything. That's why I'm here tonight, because I think it's part of the. Okay, thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Angela Callister.
I too want to comment on Bill 2444. We have lived in Dardine Acres subdivision for over 30 years. Our backyard property connects to the public sidewalk right away on Feisey Road. We would be impacted by your proposal, and I'm unclear of the potential risks that have been thought out by the city of Dardine Prairie as to what you're asking the residents to assume. First, you mentioned the snow ice removal. In our time of living in our house, I have not once witnessed the city of O'Fallon when they had the maintenance responsibility, nor the city of Dardine Prairie remove snow or ice from public sidewalks along Feisey Road. Why would you put that responsibility on residents when it appears both townships have not performed snow and ice removal before? Then there's a liability concern. We checked with our insurance agent Monday of this week. Our homeowner's policy does not cover any potential liability that could occur with the maintenance of a public sidewalk right away. It only covers the property that we own. There are risks associated with this. If a rock were to be airborne by a mower and potentially damage a car person, we would be held liable, not the city of Dardine Prairie. If an individual were to slip and fall, causing injury because of snow or ice removal, we would again be held liable, not the city of Dardine Prairie. Again, why would you put the city's responsibility back on the residents? In a time where costs are going up, or just about everything, a person must adjust their budget for the increase. We pay taxes that should cover that maintenance cost. Does not the city of Dardine Prairie budget and do long-term budget planning to accommodate for increases? I don't have the luxury of passing my grass mowing nor cost of living increases to the city of Dardine Prairie. So why would Dardine Prairie shift the maintenance, liability, and cost to the resident? Based on the fact our insurance does not cover us to perform maintenance of public sidewalks, right-of-way property, and the potential liability concerns, we are against this and will not support if passed. Thank you.
Thank you.
Cheryl Brant.
Yes, yes.
Cheryl Bratton, forgot my address, 620 Crude Bay Court, Inverness subdivision. This was not part of my speech tonight, but today when I came home about 11 o'clock in the morning, Inverness on Wednesday gets mowed. The HOA mows the grass that of the homes that butt up to Vicey, the backyards butt up to Vicey. So the mowing crews for the HOA were doing that mowing today, which means because of our HOA fees, it's an inequitable idea if one group of people have a sidewalk behind them and they have to care for it, and other people are required to let their HOA do it. So anyway, I really want to talk about the proposition from the work session last week when the community college asked for use of the land over by their college location where Barrett Haven used to be. The thing that troubles me, there are three things. First of all people do is gripe about how much kids are on their devices. Too much screen time. All people do is gripe about how kids aren't socialized. And now you have a situation where there is a gentleman who 6 months ago, almost to the day, March 20th, this is the recognition that he was given. The city of Garden Prairie has a tradition of recognizing and honoring individual citizens worthy of praise for their actions and activities. The city of Garden Prairie especially enjoys recognizing and honoring those in our community who have a demonstrated history of service and positive action. The commitment to introducing the sport of cricket to the youth of the community, along with promoting values of character and community to create positive change through the American Cricket Academy Club, the philanthropic endeavors that are valued, especially through the advocacy for underprivileged youth in programs such as Educate to Succeed. Mr. Ajay Ajab of Garden Prairie has and continues to serve the Garden Prairie community as a mentor, a philanthropist, and a business leader since 2005. Whereas Mr. Jahab's leadership has benefited the community as an advocate for sport, service, and economic development, it is now resolved that the Board of Aldermen of the City of Garden Prairie recognize Mr. Ajay Jahab for his many years of service to the community and publicly thanks him for his service and the tremendous impact he's made on our youth and the residents in our community. 6 months ago, he was the hero. And he was providing a wonderful outlet for a wonderful group of kids. Those of you that were on the board saw how this room was packed that night. And I think it's just a slap in the face if the city decides that, oh, we were just kidding, that we didn't really mean it. Thanks.
Joel King.
Joel King, 2 Toussaint Drive. First comments are on Stump Road. The runoff ditch, I implore that all of you come by and look at the trees that they have annihilated again. When this project started, I was told by the former city administrator, my trees wouldn't suffer. 6 of them or 7 of them now are going to be cut down by the city, and I can guarantee you there's several more that are going to go after they've dug out part of the ditch and taken out a ton of the roots of the trees alongside of the ditch, which means more erosion. So something's going to have to be fixed here. The next thing is, I know I can't improve on Angie's speech about the sidewalks and the grass mowing, but as far as liability goes, when it comes to the shoveling and ice removal off those sidewalks, I'm old and I'm a fat bastard. What happens if I have a heart attack out there? Are you going to pay my wife the millions of dollars that I know I'm worth? Thank you very much.
Say, don't bait the alderman. That was too easy. All right. Moving to the next order of business. We have a public hearing concerning the 2024 ad valorem tax levy. Hear a motion to open the hearing.
So moved. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Ayes have it. you have anyone speak? Public hearing. And what, how does that relate to last year's? Huge change. Anyone have any comments that they would like to make? Opening up the floor. Oh, sorry, one more time.
The tax levy for 2024 is 8.48 cents per $100 of assessed value. 8.47.
So I wish.
No,
Not from, I want to take it from O'Fallon residents though, right? What is the projected revenues off of that? Do we have that?
it's just over 400,000.
400,000. So just a reminder, we have one of the lowest tax rates in the county, and my understanding, one of the lowest in Missouri of those that actually have taxes. So we get beat by those that don't have a tax rate. But if anyone has any questions, I know hearing that we have a low tax rate often raises some eyebrows. Take your personal property taxes, flip it over to the back, and take a look at all the taxing districts and just how much Garden Prairie gets out of your property tax, both real and personal. All right, so I will.
to talk to the county taxes.
We'll talk about that one. Motion to close the public hearing.
So moved.
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Ayes have it. All right, we can move on to new business. Entertain a motion to read Bill 2441 for the first time by title only.
So moved.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Ayes have it. Bill 2441, an ordinance of the city of Garden Prairie, Missouri, approving the PUD final plan for a certain development commonly known as Town Square Apartments Phase 2, located in the city of Garden Prairie, Missouri. Just to remind those in attendance, this was previously approved. The approval is nearly run out, so they are asking for it to be reapproved, to give them a little bit more time to break ground on the project. Any discussion or debate? As an administrative action, sorry.
I'd just like to remind everybody is, this is an apartment as well. The location of which is behind Target. And it adjoins to another apartment complex that was built over a decade ago by a previous administration and a previous board that nobody here had anything to do with. But that particular apartment complex that this one adjoins to. And please, I welcome for the seasoned folks here, Kim and everybody else. Is that, what's the qualification for that? Is that a Section 8? Is it subsidized? What's the?
It-
What's the?
It is subsidized. My
Subsidized.
understanding is it is nearing the end of its period.
Period.
I'm not sure that it's.
Yeah.
That's what they said the last.
So it's subsidized, the apartment is subsidized. Matter of fact, we have somebody here from the, yeah, I remember you. Go ahead.
Well,
Yeah, my name is Lenny Mears. I'm with Grimes Consulting Engineers. I'm here on behalf of Moline Development. It is a HUD-funded project. It is workforce housing, so they have to get to a certain level of economics. They have to show their tax returns and everything to qualify to rent them. So it's not Section 8. Totally
Got it.
different.
Thank you.
Totally different.
Yeah.
But again, as well, and I don't know if you were going there, these are market rate. They will be divided by a gate.
Well, yeah.
These are,
My point was, is that
Yep.
you're helping.
Yes.
You're helping, so, because I don't know if everybody that's here, I mean, apartments are a very sensitive subject in this issue in the city for a reason. But when we assess, like, being one of the few members on the board at the time, this was part of the equation, is that we're basically, there's someone who was willing to come forward and build next to this and build a very nice, modern, apartment complex. In a place where I think apartments belong, which is right next to the highway, right there next behind Target, good location. So as we move to vote on it, I just, want to make sure that everybody out here in the audience is clear that this isn't another new apartment. If it's your first time here, this is something that the board's weighed in on this, and we felt that this is, I can't speak for the board, but the board has previously voted on this as an administrative, but there's those factors in when we previously voted on it. So.
Well, and in planning and zoning, I asked the gentleman here, was the plans to make the new apartments market rate? And yes, they are. And the question came up, is there, because it doesn't show on the plans we have, but is there going to be a gate separating these apartments? And yes, there will be. And when the other apartments run out their term, which I believe that's quite a
believe it.
while.
I believe, I could be wrong, but it's like 12.
Yeah. That they will then take the other apartments and make them market rate.
And integrate them. Yeah.
Right. And they have come in and done some improvements to what was there when the group bought those apartments. So,
So thank you. Thank you. So in summary, just to kind of put a bow on it, because I know we probably just confused folks. So, and my apologies for that, but then thank you for helping. We had sort of a standard of apartments that wasn't necessarily the caliber that we have come to enjoy recently. It was put there many years ago. It's getting older and it's harder to find somebody who wants to put very nice, modern, new apartments. That's what we're voting on here, is to sort of buttress it next to it, and to Alderman Detweiler's point, eventually they're going to sort of assume responsibility for that and then sort of integrate it and bring it around. So it's a long-term strategy that we're looking at here. So anyway, I digress. I've probably confused people. So hope that helps some. Didn't confuse enough.
but in planning and zoning, this was just an administrative.
Yeah,
This is-
yeah. One more salient point here is that the area plan that was approved at the beginning of this as part of the PUD process, it is still in effect. So the final plan is the final markups. It's the granularity that we require for the final plan. As long as that matches up with the area plan with no significant difference, we are required to pass the final plan. So that makes this an administrative.
Yep.
This is exactly the same as the final plan that was approved previously. So as an administrative action, I would entertain a motion to read this for a second time tonight.
I do
So
have
moved.
a question.
Sir,
How long do they have until this piece is up? Like, how long do we give them? Is it a year, 6 months?
is it 12 months sunset on the area plans? Or, sorry, on the final?
Final plan is 1 year.
1 year.
Okay, thank you. Sorry, you didn't look my way. Trying to ask that question.
Throw
Sorry.
something at me next.
Gotcha.
So I have a motion to read for a second time. Do I have a second?
Second.
All right, all in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Ayes have it. Bill 2441, an ordinance of the city of Dardenne Prairie, Missouri, approving the PUD final plan for certain development commonly known as Town Square Apartments Phase 2, located in the city of Dardenne Prairie, Missouri.
Motion roll call vote on bill number 2441.
Motion?
Second.
You read,
Detweiler,
I,
Alderman Costello,
aye.
Alderman Wilson,
Aye.
Alderman Whitman,
Aye.
Alderman Gedemeyer,
Aye.
Alderman Johnson.
Aye.
Ordinance 2316.
Right, moving on, Bill 2442. I have a motion to read this for the first time.
Motion to read bill 2442 first time.
a second.
Alderman Detweiler. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Hearing none. Bill 2442, an ordinance of the city of Dardenne Prairie, Missouri, establishing the ad valorem tax for all real and tangible property within the city of Dardenne Prairie for the period of January 1st, 2024 to December 31st, 2024.
Yeah.
All one. All right, any discussion or debate or motion to read second?
Motion to read bill 2442 for second time.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Bill 2442, an ordinance of the city of Dardenne Prairie, Missouri, establishing the ad valorem taxes for all real and tangible property within the city of Dardenne Prairie for the period of January 1st, 2024 to December 31st, 2024.
For roll call vote.
Second.
Motion and a second.
Alderman Johnson,
Aye.
Alderman Whitman,
Aye.
Alderman Gedemeyer,
Aye.
Alderman Wilson,
Aye.
Alderman Castlo,
Aye.
Alderman Detweiler. Aye. Ordinance 2317.
17.
Motion read bill 2443 for the first time by title only.
Second.
Motion in dual seconds. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Ayes have it. Bill 2443, an ordinance to the city of Dardenne Prairie, Missouri, authorizing the mayor to negotiate and execute an agreement with MyGov LLC for software subscription services. Normally, this would be one we'd read over 2 different meetings. Due to the urgency of getting this in place, I would just twice tonight.
I concur.
Second.
Motion read bill 2443 for the second time.
Look, we read, I have some comments after.
Okay, do I have a second?
Second.
Dueling seconds again. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Ayes have it. Bill 2443, an ordinance of the city of Dardenne Prairie, Missouri, authorizing the mayor to negotiate and execute an agreement with MyGov LLC for software subscription service.
So I think we need to add some language in here. It's for a 1-year term only.
Is,
Based on the work session discussion, can we put a boundary on the contract that we allow for 1 year?
pulling up that contract. Is that contract, it should be
It's in here. I've
attached,
just speak on that one.
correct?
Why are you looking that up? How?
It's right here.
Oh, go ahead.
It looks like it's for 1 year, but the online training is for 2 years. So I think that anything that we do, we just need to put a bound on, put a boundary on what we're paying for 1 year, since the board, I'll read earlier, we want to continue to assess. before we
Very,
Make a long-term commitment on this.
very good catch there. I did not see that. It's the last 2 line items.
I mean, we can just go and tell them, we want training for 1 year and have them reduce the price accordingly. These are all line items to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Module setup course, 2 years, and online training is 2 years. And it looks like they have prices reflected accordingly. It's just doubled the itemized price.
Pointing out is second, the last 2 line items. Years on. Everything. It'll give us support for 2 years. but they-
Incongruous. Yeah. So let me suggest this, instead of muddying up the ordinance itself, we'll have that understanding as the.
Fair enough.
Okay. So that is record.
All right, I will make a motion to, any other just,
Oh, anyone can make a motion.
all right, motion to,
Roll call.
motion to roll call vote for, Bill 2443 by title only.
You have a second?
Second.
All right, Bill 24, sorry, please.
Alderman Wilson,
Aye.
Alderman Detweiler,
Aye.
Alderman Whitman,
Aye.
Alderman Gedemeyer,
Aye.
Alderman Johnson,
Aye.
Alderman Castlo.
Aye.
Ordinance 2318.
Motion to read Bill 2444 by title only for the first time.
Second.
Is this 44?
I'd like to
24,
make a
44?
motion to postpone this till the next meeting. Can we get further language on it?
Do we want to
So-
read it first, or do we want to just postpone?
I'd say we
Do
postpone.
you withdraw your motion?
I withdraw my motion.
What's the cleanest way to do it? Just postpone the whole thing without reading.
Okay.
So I've got a motion from
And the
Alderman
reason,
Johnson.
the reason being, and I'd like to address this, this was originally brought to the board as language that adjoining city has, due to the fact that we have a situation such as the Prairie where they don't mow all the way up to the roadway. There's no intention behind this, put a burden on our cities and all that residents. And we're working through this. This is nothing that we've decided on yet. It's what we're figuring out a way for businesses to mow all the way up to the roadway. As you go by the prairie, it is state-owned, but they're not mowing all the way up. But we can enact an ordinance to have them mow all the way up there. It's not intended to burden the residents.
Yeah. I'd like to add to that, we did have, a discussion about this, a few minutes ago, and this is something that we pretty much unanimously agreed upon. So your voices have been heard as far as, we're not trying to, to Alderman Johnson's point, and we all, I think most everybody chimed in, so I'm not speaking for the board. But what I heard was that everybody agreed, we're not trying to burden the residents. This is more for trying to regulate some commercial activities that may have some responsibilities there. So we're looking for revised wording on that at this point.
Yes.
To help clarify that. So, but thanks for everybody for your comments on this.
And to add to that, there's a lot of nuance that goes into something like this, and we want to get it right the first time. So if you have specific situations that you're concerned about, ways that you believe that you'll be impacted, if there's anything out of the ordinary with your lot and things that you think we should consider when we're writing this language, please contact your alderman, send an email, make a call. I could say everyone up here is up here because they love this city and they love our residents. So don't hold back. Except for you, Joel.
Well, I don't have the money to pay Joel.
Motion to, did we already make motion to postpone?
I think we're waiting on a second.
Second.
All right. All in favor? All opposed? Ayes have it. Bill 2444 will be postponed until the next meeting.
Motion to postpone Bill 2445 to the next meeting.
25.
2425, that was it.
Yeah, moving on to old business. Do we have a second for Bill 2445 postponed?
2425.
I hear a second from Alderman Wilson. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Ayes have it. Bill 2425 is postponed until the next meeting. All right, and seeing as we have already authorized for MyGov, this 2435 is with GoGov.
Motion,
Postpone indefinitely.
I was gonna say.
Sorry, but we have a motion.
Motion to Bill 2435 postpone indefinitely.
Second.
All right, we have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Ayes have it. That is postponed forever. All right, we are moving on to officer and staff communications. City Attorney,
I have nothing.
the engineer.
Yes, sir. And just some points. Post Road, we're working through some issues with the landowner out on technology that butts up there. We've given them a kind of a preliminary layout. We haven't started any negotiations because we're not at that stage yet. But we're just trying to get a understanding and a feel with them on what they would accept, what they wouldn't accept without kind of a fight or a battle. So we're trying to work through that. That's of note. We're also finalizing in the final design mode on Town Square Boulevard project. So that's underway. And any questions? Oh, I guess a note, next Thursday, not tomorrow, but next Thursday, we have a Stump Road project meeting with the contractor. And I believe also I did hear that they were going to open up phase 2 at the end of this week.
So they're gonna, so the Fisey to Stump will be blocked off and you'll go down N.
Yes, ma'am.
Have you seen the trees and stuff? Or they?
I've seen some, and actually Phil, the city arborist, who's also superintendent, has been out as well. Was not in that meeting with Phil and Mr. King, but apparently some of those trees were dying. Not sure of the reasoning, but apparently the city's going to be cutting some of those trees down. On behalf of the residents and the city, I am trying to work with the contractor to figure out how we can. It might be expensive. We might bring those costs to the board for your review. If there's some additional rock lining we can do in that creek channel. I'm still waiting on a price from the contractor to do some of that. So I would say that would be a board decision, whether or not that's something that you would all entertain. I've been trying to work with this, as Joel knows, for a while to try to get some pricing to not line the whole channel, but just some of the downstream curve that affects Mr. King most notably. So I still haven't received any of those prices. I probably suspect it's not going to be cheap because the problem with that, lining that creek bank downstream, it's very tight. It's not great access. It's going to be very labor intensive. And so I just don't know. I will certainly share that with the appropriate board members at the time that I receive that. And then we can have, you all can have a discussion and
I
figure
guess the
out.
big question is the work being done creating an issue out there?
Well, you know, it's hard to say with those types of trees that can be very sensitive, whether the other part of the problem, what we don't know is the utilities were in that area specifically right there on that south side of that entrance. So there has been no particular digging by KJ Understall in that specific area, but there were utilities in that area doing relocates and directional boring. And I think, Joe, I thought there was some utility work in that. Well, yeah, well, at the board's direction, I can look, again, I'm not the engineer of record on that project. I'm kind of over watching things and kind of from afar. I certainly can take a little more action on that issue if the board president, Mr. Chairman, if you so desire, I can get a little more involved in that particular issue if you would like.
I'm gonna defer to the mayor on that one,
Okay,
but what I would love to see is if some or all of the aldermen can be given of what's going on, so we can see firsthand what's going on behind barricades and progress. If just a walk through, as long as the attorney doesn't say that I'm not allowed to.
We can't all go together.
I'm sure that there will not be more than three.
Does everybody have steel toe boots?
well, I mean, that's, I think you're of free will to go down that project anytime. The city has full access to that area.
It might be better with a guide so we can ask questions.
Okay. I will, I guess, get with Phil and this, who's the city superintendent, and start trying to arrange something. Again, we do have an official progress meeting next Thursday that typically is here, but we have had field trips out to the site. I can suggest to HR Green that we open that meeting up to that. To me, that probably makes the most sense because it's already an established meeting. And it is to conduct project-related discussion.
I think it'd be good for.
And then I guess we would have to limit the number of, Mr. Attorney John, would we have to limit the number of board representatives that could be there?
I can't make it next Thursday. So.
Okay, so it would be what, the maximum of 3?
I
So,
already drove over there and saw what I need.
yeah, so that meeting officially is scheduled. And typically the mayor comes to that meeting and or previous city administrator, but that meeting again is scheduled, and I'm pulling up my invite, 9 o'clock here at City Hall next Thursday. I will be there. I attend those, and I guess, pick 3 at the most, and
It sounds like
I would defer to, is Ward 3 would have, I would defer to the other ward members that
Yeah.
are closer to the backyard, so.
sure, that makes sense.
Joel, can I call you and schedule a walk through with you? Okay, I'll call you.
So that's what we're doing, and I will let HR Green know that is going to, we're going to have some guests from the city to, and then potentially schedule a little more time for a follow-up site visit. Fair enough?
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Clerk, do you have any?
The striping over in Lewis and Clark was completed,
Yes.
and the LED stop signs have been ordered.
Um. Okay,
Alderman.
okay. You reminded me of something. Thanks, Kim. As we voted on the stop signs and got that through, I'm realizing that, I guess, it's over to the city engineer. I wanted to understand if you had, or, Phil had had a chance to go out and assess how the stop sign placement would be implemented, because there are currently, have you guys had a chance to go look at that yet? I would be interested to know more about that, when you guys do make that assessment that we talked about.
So Phil has taken the lead on that, but he does call me periodically with questions about some of the heights and some of the manual uniform traffic control device standards. We've sent him some of those from our online, our online reference material. Up to this point, he's asked for help. I've given him that help, but I have not overstepped that boundary
Okay.
up to this point.
He's not here. I guess the specific question, and looking at it, there's another layer that we probably didn't really look at closely when installing it, is where you might want to install the stop sign. You have the large pedestrian crosswalk post with lights and the buttons. So that's what I'm really wondering about. And if we have to talk offline, that's fine. And if we talk to Phil, that's fine. But I'm more curious is, I think the stop signs are the right move, but do we need to remove other things that are there?
Yeah, we'll have to dive down a little deeper, because some of the height requirements on each of those are all regulated by those standards from the MUTCD. And that's probably going to govern whether or not an additional sign, or if we can use the same signs that are there. And because some of those signs you can actually have quite high, it's just, you got to be within a range or a tolerance of those heights.
And over to Attorney Young, no additional signage requires board approval, right? The additional safety signs that may be moved or changed, it's only the stop signs that.
It's a sign that we intend to enforce by ordinance.
Okay. Thank you.
You're supposed to go last because
Yeah, I know.
your
Yeah.
spiel, you're
Yeah, well,
you screwed up
you
the
go
whole
first, Angela.
process there now.
Look in.
All right, so this last meeting, maybe less, so thanks for covering down on me. Yes, Laura.
I have stuff I want to talk about.
Oh,
it's not done.
I'm gonna,
Okay.
you guys
I
can
got
still get your
stuff.
chance.
Oh, okay, good.
It's busting my chops because I usually wait for everybody else, then I say my spiel, but thank you guys for coming. I see a few new faces in the crowd tonight, so for those who've come to these meetings before, that one of the things too, when I first came on, I made it a point to thank you guys for coming out and sharing your thoughts, sharing your ideas, and participating in the democratic process. So thank you guys for coming out. Appreciate you sharing your thoughts, good, bad, or indifferent. And please continue to come participate in the democratic process. And thanks to St. Charles County Police Officer back there. Appreciate you keeping this rowdy crowd under control. So thanks. Over to you guys.
Johnson.
I'd just like to comment on a public comment that was made about the cricket fields and that. In the discussion that was had, there was no intent of getting rid of those cricket fields and all. The intent was to find them a new location.
Yeah.
Which in Darting Prairie. Oh, yeah. And there's been talk on that before about there's been other plans in different locations and stuff like that. But no, I mean, myself as an alderman, and it's in my Ward 3, I would never get rid of those fields. But if I can find a better location with better access and parking and all that stuff, that's the way I will be fighting tooth and nail for that.
Yep.
Yeah, so I just want to clarify, yeah, no, that was no intent whatsoever on that part.
Yeah, to piggyback off of that, where they are right now is not ideal and it's really,
It's
really
tough.
tough on both the college, city as well, and on the cricket players. They close off the gate to the college. So the cricket players have to hoof it down there. There's not a lot of shade. It could definitely be better, and we've recognized how big cricket's gotten in this.
Even
area. So,
trying to service a porta potty out there, the truck getting there and tearing everything up and all that. I mean, there's multiple things. And I thought that for a long time. We got other areas. Let's make a nicer field.
Yeah. And
Promote it, maybe make it bigger, you know, or for another sports, you know.
I know that there was a sketch made already for Bluebird Meadow across.
Yeah.
But I know there's been some interest in some other places and some other ideas. I think that, and just as a note, the Cricket Association and AJ, they've already been told about this. They're involved. They've already spoken with community college and they like the idea of it moving somewhere else. So everyone's on board for the cricket fields. We might still have some discussion to have about.
That's all.
Perfect. Thank you, sir. Ms. Laura?
Yes, I have a couple of things. A real quick one. I had a resident call and tell me that she renewed her driver's license, but they wouldn't list Starting Prairie as her city. They would only list O'Fallon. And she called up City Hall and I heard maybe the mayor's wife had the same problem
A
where,
lot of people have that problem.
really?
My wife had that same problem.
Really?
They don't think Darden Prairie exists. Which is a problem because
Because we know it does.
And if you,
Well-
if,
I know, so
I
I
know.
want mine
I did
too.
too.
a lot of times you have to correct them, and if you're not paying attention, you'll end up saying
but
O'Fallon.
sitting on the election board,
Mhm.
Kurt Barr does not recognize Darden Prairie either, because we do not have our own zip code. So all your voting stuff that comes to your home will say O'Fallon, and it will not change until we get a post office with their own zip code for the
that's
voting authority.
Yes, yes and no. I know that, and we've got to get, most companies are that way right now.
That's one of your first tasks to take up when you get elected, buddy.
You can post on Darden Prairie.
Get something changed in Darden Prairie.
It's amazing how much of O'Fallon gets Lake St. Louis as their city. I realized that just south of Lake St. Louis is O'Fallon, that Wingate subdivision, and everyone still thinks they're in Lake St. Louis. So we're not the only ones with that problem. But there is a problem with having that registered improperly at the DMV because,
Different tax rate, right?
and I'm sorry, you said for license, but registering vehicles and things like that. Our taxes come to the city that you reside in.
No.
So I remember a while ago, our city clerk found out that O'Fallon got a lot of our money.
Really?
And we're able to,
Oh, good for you.
don't cross Kim.
That's
So
one-
get it.
do I tell, this resident wants me to call her back tomorrow. I mean, what do I tell her? Do I tell her?
Good question. Do
Yeah.
you have any guidance, Kim? You've been closer to this than I have.
You know, a lot of times go up there, get a different person.
Yeah, that's okay. I'm sure she's dying to go back to the.
Tell her we'll go up there with our Darden Prairie shirt
They're
on.
all contractors also.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
So, and I do appreciate doing something with Joel King's issue because I've seen the pictures of the trees. It's horrendous. And I was there when HR Green said, oh no, we got to get rid of this one tree and everything else should be okay. And that has not been the case. The other thing I wanted to mention, we've been talking about, and I know Tom's talked to Joel and I about it, about getting some speed bumps along Stump Road because it's a connector road. And we all know what a nightmare Feisy and Brian is. And people are going to use Stump Road as soon as it's open to speed along it. And so the idea was to try to get some speed bumps. I saw an article in the Post-Dispatch, St. Louis City is paying $262,000 for 100 bumps, which the math is pretty easy here. It's 2620 a bump. So I don't know what they're made of. I don't know any details, but we were told by James Knowles $50,000 for the 2 bumps.
Well, like I told you and Mr. King at after the last meeting, we got official prices from KJ Understall. Those speed bumps probably being put in the city of St. Louis are probably asphalt and they're probably speed humps and they're very small. what was proposed, right or wrong, by HR Green slash KJ Armstrong was a speed table and very substantial and made out of concrete and anchored into the new pavement. So those were $25,000 on each, but they're very
Durable.
12-foot each and a 6-foot top table and then another 12-foot. So a big table. Now, like I've said, I think for many, many meetings, there are the rubberized portable that are permanent slash semi-permanent that you can anchor into any surface, whether you want to do a speed hump. Do we need to go all the way to a speed table? That's something that potentially Phil and his crew could install with some little bit of guidance from me. Much cheaper to do that, probably no more than 4,000 to 5,000 per each. Those would be the rubberized versions. They're used all over town as well. So,
I appreciate your input. And I just don't want it to die on the vine.
no,
Yeah,
and
and I just thought that was kind of interesting, because I think more cities are using these.
there's many cities that we represent
Yeah,
they started out, many cities that we represent started out with the rubberized anchored by lag bolts into the existing pavement. They have now started to switch, pull those up, use those temporary somewhere else in their city. And where they've determined and decided that that's where permanent, they've come back and put in, granted, they've been using asphalt with the much, $3,000 to $4,000 costs. Similar, of course, when you're doing 200 and something of them, you're going to get a better unit price, as you know.
yeah.
But still, that was, what is that, 2,600 a piece, something like that. So, so it's not uncommon to be 3,000 to 4,000 for less quantity. But again, the concrete speed tables, very expensive. I personally don't think that's the way to go. I've kind of said all along, why don't you try the rubberized ones? See how things work. If it looks like those are going to be a helpful thing for the area, pull them up, build the permanent ones at that time. But because it's going to be a concrete street, you would then have to spend additional money to do the concrete. So, but that's my 2
Okay,
cents.
thank you very much. Appreciate that. That's all I have.
Real short, Carl, you have something?
Go ahead.
Okay. Just want to bring up some situations we did have in Ward 1 in Inverness. As the new companies come on board, I believe Sugar Fry will be on board about a week or so. Macadoodle about 2 weeks from now. Is that roughly right? Okay. Okay. So we had some little issues with people parking on the Inverness side. The mayor did go over there and actually do their best to make sure they park on their side. However, I want to make sure that we figure out something if this parking comes up issue right there on that Cora Marie Street, that we as the board kind of figure something out before it gets too much of a problem. Because I live in Inverness, I am definitely concerned, but I do not want to fall on deaf ears. Also to that, if my people in Pinnacle Point have had issues, please let me know as well too. That's all I have for right now.
It's the workers you're talking about?
Yes, the workers, but we kind of figured out it's not the construction workers, it's the electricians that are there trying to fix things up that don't know the process. So that's pretty much what it is. That's the mayor, he actually went over there, talked to the building lead and talked to him, make sure people park on this side. It's still an issue, but we're trying to figure it out. But I know in the future, it's gonna become a bigger issue.
I just have one thing. I think the city needs to be sure and be clear on what this new chicken law is gonna be. Because I assumed it meant that 2/10 of an acre. So, but found out at the conference we were at that HOAs cannot regulate it, but the city can. So I think there's gonna be some real misception on that, and I don't know how we can
Does our city,
communicate that.
Well, what I've seen on social media is we don't have to. That's pretty effectively, pretty quickly. Our current chicken ordinance is in keeping with that, correct? I don't think the city has restrictions
Yeah, we do.
in excess of.
At one time, it
Maybe
was 1
maybe
acre, and
John
then it
can-
was reduced. There was an argument
Yeah,
years ago, but it was reduced. But I don't know exactly what it,
I thought it
Tim,
was
do you know what the,
0.2.
Did we get John to take a look at it?
I think it was 10,000 or something like that.
10,000 square feet?
That would be,
Just under a quarter of an acre.
Yeah.
yeah, so it'd
So I
be
can have chickens in my bird haven?
0.2 acres. Or, yes, chicken.
Now,
Did we
now,
get-
there's another thing you have to
My
consider.
daughter has chickens.
HOA can't control it, and it also allows you to have one chicken coop to hold up to 6 chickens, but the HOA can regulate what that chicken coop looks like, because it is a structure
Within
being
reason.
built.
Yeah.
So they can require like the same siding, the same roof, stuff like that as your own. So, they still have a little, they could probably drive somebody nuts over the thing. So,
So on that,
I would say they need a chimney too, so to match.
I am sure it goes to the point of not to be too restrictive so as to undermine the law, but yes, you are correct. So
is there?
I'm
is there a-
stalling so you can.
Oh, real quick, since we're stalling, please everybody come out to Prairie Day. We want to see everyone out. Please bring your grandkids, your kids, and all the little kids and the dogs. We have something for everyone all day that day. We'll be out there as well too, from 9 until noon to 5. Okay, I'll be there at 9 o'clock. So sorry, know my schedule. Noon to 5. So please come out. We'll hand out these beautiful pamphlets that we made as well too to share around to everybody. So please come out to Prairie Day.
Is always fun. Prairie Day is
Yeah.
always a blast for everybody. So council just informed me the current city code is 10,000 square feet, which is just over 0.2 acres. 0.2 acres is 8,712 feet. 0.2 acres. So it is less restrictive by about, is that 1,200 square feet? But I don't think anybody in this room was watching their square footage quite that close. So, 0.2 acres, you can have up to 6 chickens.
No roosters.
No roosters, please, no roosters.
So can the city? Say what
I'm just
The city
saying,
can do whatever they want.
we can.
I
it can
don't
be
think it-
restrictive.
I don't
Yes.
think it's been clearly put out there. I think everybody that heard about it and excited about it thinks just anybody can go out and have chickens. And it's gonna create some issues with some HOAs on some other issues. So, I just think as a city, we should make it clear to our residents,
Whatever drives down the cost of egg.
I'm with you on that. There's so many reasons. All right, does anybody have any other comments to make?
Yeah, you're kidding me.
I do not see any more, so I'll entertain a motion to close.
Motion to
Second.
close,
Gotta wait for him to finish the
Oh.
motion before you second.
Sorry, I thought you said it already.
motion to close the regular meeting for September 16th.
So,
Belaboring. First, second, all in favor? All opposed? Ayes have it. Thank you for coming out.
It was 14-hour day, I'll say that.